What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. My name is JS. That's my compadre, Aka, also known as Messiah Complex Cosplay. How's it going, Jeff?
Oh, so good. So excited for this weekend. Not really. Really looking forward to how this weekend's going to go. Not even a little bit. I'm very happy with all of the decisions that I've made that have led up to this. I have so many regrets, but we're here. We're not queer, but we're having a good time. We're going to talk about some Star Trek stuff. Notice, got to representing some Trek here going on. We are going to talk about what JS and I are going to be up to this weekend. We're having, I don't know what you call it. It is a Geeks & Co. Event, but I mean, it's just the pair of us. I don't know if, is this the first time it's ever going to be just you and I doing something?
I think so.
I kind of feel like it is.
I think so.
We've always had somebody else with us. I think this is the first time that you and I are going to venture out on our own. So that's going to make for an interesting thing.
No producer Jen, no Rob the bad guy, no
editor Megan,
nobody
Teresa,
at all.
Jamie, nobody. Yeah, crazy Mike. Yeah, just you and I, man.
Just you and I. Now I want to preface this for the people that actually don't know what's going on. We are going to Anime North, but we don't have a booth at Anime North. So, keep your expectations, a little, keep them down, because we don't have a booth. I don't even think we'll be in cosplay at all. I'm not wearing cosplay. No, we're not going to be in cosplay at all this weekend. So, I mean, I don't see anything anime, and I don't understand people that. Anyway, let's maybe get into that conversation in a second, folks. If you are watching us now, one of the 3 people that are watching, I'm just kidding, or the 3 people that are in the chat, guys, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. It really, really, really helps us out. If you haven't gotten our Star Wars beer, sorry, you missed out. If you come to Anime North this weekend, come say hi. Otherwise, make sure you click the goddamn subscribe button. You're really fucking missing out here. We are going to be going live this weekend, actually, from the con floor.
Such that it is.
Well, I mean, I've never been, so I don't even know.
Like we talked, yeah. So I've never been either, but I do know, just looking at the website, it's in the Toronto Congress Center, but there's like a north and a south, much like the Metro Convention Center, a north and the south, and there's even stuff going on in the hotel. So it's like I'll be there all weekend working and cosplaying. This is Myers Corp. We'll be doing two of those 3 things. We will be there all weekend, and we will be working as well.
Yeah.
We're kind of going into this a little bit blind. Myers Corp says the layout is amazing. From what I understand, there's a change though, based on the hotel or something like that. It was at the Sheraton before, but now it's at the Delta as one of the things. I don't. Again, this is my first experience. I don't think JS and I have been terribly shy about this. We're not anime guys. I've tried a few times. I can't seem to get into it. I can't seem to crack it. So. But we got asked to come out and help initially with Goes, which is our friend Aaron runs the video games. He's got some classic stuff. He's got some VR stuff and everything else. We're going there to help out. But he also said, hey, I can set up an area for you guys so you guys do the podcast at, if you guys want to do that. So that's why we're going. So you're probably going to see us at one point in like volunteer shirts for Anime North, and then we'll change out of those, put on our Geeks & Co. shit, and then I don't know if we're going to have a table set up where we'll be able to actually do the podcast from, or if we're just going to be kind of wandering around, but we're going to make sure we're doing stuff all 3 days, try to travel around as much as we can and see as much of the whole thing, the north, the south, the hotel, the whole 9 yards, to try to give you guys what we normally do and try to give you like a live experience of what's going on there. But we're noobs, man. Like we haven't been. So we're going to be relying on others. Our very good friend, Rob Bellamy, who runs CK Expo, and does a lot of the amateur filming that I participate in. He's been there once before, and our friend Steve is going to be there as well. I believe he's been there before too, in this capacity. So we're going to be kind of relying on them. And then if we see you guys there, we're going to be, what building did we figure out that we were in?
North.
The north. Yeah, we're going to be in the north building where all of the gaming hall is where we're going to be at. So give us a visit. Yeah, come say hi. And because that's where we'll be probably regardless. Like even if we are doing the podcast live from there, if we're going to be stationary, we're probably going to be in there.
If we're stationary, it is going to be there. I remember Aaron did tell me that we were going to be able to have a spot where we could put a banner up and do our podcast. So I'm assuming there's going to be at least a wall somewhere where we can set up and put our banner and that type of stuff. It'd be nice to be able to roam the floor a little bit, but I think it'll very much depend on, do we have anybody there that can give us a hand? Are we able to get away and get to the other hall? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's anything like Toronto Comic-Con or Fan Expo. It's becoming harder and harder to move around these cons with cameras.
I would assume so. I know this one is, from what I understand anyway, especially because of the time of year it takes place, there's a lot of like lobby conning. Yeah, the outside will be the rocking spot. So there's a lot of like kids just showing up that either can't afford tickets or have no desire to go inside. So they just hang out outside. The lobby con kids is what we used to call them. I don't know what they call them now. They can't even get into the lobby, but from what I understand, and if there's another con in the States is very, very similar to that. Maybe it's Mega, maybe it's Dragon. One of them has the same thing where people just congregate outside the convention area as opposed to going inside. So moving around inside. Is it San Diego? Yeah, I don't know.
San Diego, there's as much going on outside as there is going on inside. There's a bunch. Actually, there's vendors that set up outside as well.
Oh, okay.
It's massive outside. That's why it's so big. Because inside, it's actually smaller than Fan Expo in terms of numbers of inside. So, Anyway.
So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll be able to get around okay. Like we said, we have no basis for comparison other than like Fan Expo. I know it's like one of the biggest shows in the country, but I don't know. That was always me at AN, just outside in the San Diego. Did both. Who is NB? Does anybody know who that is?
Nita? No, I think Nita's.
No, that's not. Well, that's not her. Those aren't her initials, but.
Well, no, fair enough. I don't know.
Who are you, NB?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited in the sense. Oh, it's Nicole. There you go, Nicole Bowen.
Oh, it's Nicole Bowen. Hello, Nicole.
I'm excited in the sense that I've never been to this con. I don't really know what to expect in terms of what we're going to be doing there and when we're going to be able to do our live broadcasts and all that stuff, because we're kind of going in there in the dark. So as much as we'd love to be able to tell you, this is what's going on and this is the schedule, but we don't know. We haven't really been involved at all, right? We were asked, hey, can you guys help us? Sure. Here, you make sure you're there on this day at this time. That's as much as I got out of it.
Fill out this form. We're like, cool. Now what?
Yeah.
They're like, well, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. See you there.
Yeah. So, which again is fine. I mean, it's going to give us a chance to actually scope out the con and see if maybe this is something we want to be more of a part of in the future, right? Even though we don't do really anime, do we want to try to, find some anime cosplayers that can help us out and represent the Geeks & Co. and do, broadcasts like we do at other cons and set up meetups and
maybe.
I don't know because
I don't know either.
So let's go check it out. Let's see what it's like this weekend. Hopefully we're going to get to see a lot of you guys there. From my understanding, it sounds like the regular crowd is going to be there. So it'll be fun that way.
It will be fun that way. And then 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, Niagara Falls Comic Con will be taking place.
Yeah.
So our good friend Andrew Saxon will be there. He has begun to organize an event. I don't know if we're spilling beans on that event yet.
I don't know. I think we need to start talking about it because it's coming up.
Because it's literally in 2 weeks. So again, so that's I'm always bitter about Niagara Falls now. Not bitter. Niagara Falls Comic Con is the only. I go to 10 to 12 cons a year now. It's the only one I have to buy a ticket for anymore. Because for whatever reason, they don't want to have your geeks at Niagara Falls Comic Con. I know that for the first time ever, they're doing a cosplay red carpet. They've never done anything remotely. They don't have cosplay guests. They don't have a cosplay contest. They never have. They've been very shy about not having cosplay heavily involved, even though so many of the people coming are in cosplay. So this year, at least they have a red carpet, but Andrew is trying to organize an event that we're going to try to do it. Go for a boy spill beans. Yeah. We're probably going to be doing a bit of a relay. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on. You did finish the story you were saying. So not Fan Expo, Niagara doesn't really.
They don't really want us there.
Interested in us being there.
No.
We've applied. We've tried to get in touch with them. We never even get a response back. Right. So we're taking over Niagara Falls Comic Con. Mr. Andrew Saxon is going to be setting up. What are we calling it?
It's a play on Sometimes You Just Can't Get Rid of a Bomb, which is the meme, of course. So it is based on the 1966 classic Batman television show. And at one point, if you just Google it, like Batman running with bomb or something like that, you're going to see Batman, Adam West, with this comically large black wick on top bomb running through like downtown Gotham with this bomb over his head and with the phrase, sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. Andrew, if you go on my Instagram, actually, you scroll back a bit, you're going to see a picture of me as Batman with this bomb over my head. It's hilarious. It's huge. Can't get rid of a bomb relay is what Andrew Saxon is saying. We're going to be doing it outside, probably either right across in like adjacent to the parking lot or right across the street. There's two big grass areas there. And there's even one kind of out back where we shot Anchorman there last year, the year before, whatever it was. Yeah, we're gonna do a bomb relay. So
we're gonna do a bomb relay. We're gonna have flagpoles set up. I haven't started working on those flags. I got to get going on those flags, but we're putting together some flags. I mean, the flags are built. Andrew built the flags. I just need to print them. Anyway, the bomb is built. We're gonna try to get some photographers in place to take a couple shots. So as you're running the relay, I think the idea is gonna be you're gonna either sacrifice being fast for being funny, you know what I mean, because it will be both judged on how funny you are,
you get style points
and
for sure.
Your speed, right? So we're gonna have a couple cameras set up so we could take a couple pictures as the people run the bomb relay. We're gonna do some live broadcasts on Instagram. I think in my mind I want to do like a sports broadcast type thing where we're coming to you live from the Niagara Falls Comic-Con. The bomb relay is on, right?
Perfect.
So it'll be fun. It'll be a reason for us to get together and hang out. It's going to be on Saturday afternoon. What time exactly? We're going to have to figure that out probably in the next week so that we can talk about it next week on the podcast.
I kind of wanted to just get through Anime North first, and then we'll start.
Yeah, so we can nail it all down.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a specific time set up, and I think we don't want to be doing this all day, right?
No, it will be Saturday though, because
it'll be Saturday. Yes.
Saturday is the only day that JS is coming down. I'll be there all weekend with any of the crew that are going to be there or whatever. But we're coming to Niagara just for the Saturday. Okay, cool. It says our friend Not Possible, so that's good. So we'll figure it out. Stay tuned for that. That should be really cool. And otherwise, I mean, just Niagara Falls in general. It's just a good time, even though they're not terribly cosplay heavy. We just go and have a blast. And you're in Niagara Falls at the end of the day too, right?
Exactly.
So you're not too far away from a good time, even if the con isn't really lighting it up for you. So I haven't figured out my total lineup yet. I am cosplaying all 3 days. I do know that I'm doing the comedian on Friday, and I do know that I'm doing old man Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond on Sunday, because Robbie is doing Batman Beyond. He's doing Terry McGinnis. So I'm going to do old, bedraggled, cane limping Bruce Wayne. So I'm just trying to figure out. Well, in that he's got a gray turtleneck, a black like cardigan style thing, and black pants with a cane. So I already have all that shit. It's super easy. It's fine.
We're a turtleneck.
That's fine. Well, it's like a moisture wick. It's like a workout one. It's like a moisture wicking one. So I'm trying to make it as terrible as
moist as possible, right?
Very, very moist, super moist. So I don't know what I'm doing Saturday yet. I figure if I'm doing DC on Friday and I'm doing DC on Sunday, I should probably just stick with the theme and just do DC on Saturday as well. I just don't know what it's going to be. I mean, if we're doing the bomb relay, it would make sense for me to be Batman, but Batman's all black and we're going to be standing outside and I'm going to fucking roast. So I'm not going to do Batman on Saturday. I'll figure out something else.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing because all my cosplays are just fucking hot, right? So I don't really have a summer appropriate.
You don't
cosplay. So
no. I mean, at least Freeze doesn't have any arms.
Well, yeah, there is that.
It's just pants, and then you kind of got the vest. Leave the top off, right? So maybe.
Yeah, and screw the paint. Just get my hair and beard white.
Yeah.
Body
That's what
paint.
I'm saying.
That was a lot.
Yes, Tanith and Michael. I know you guys will both be missing it. I know our girlfriend Jolene is getting married that weekend, so you guys will be off doing that. So Vacay MJ, yeah, absolutely, yeah, man. Just do it. Blue Beetle. That's not a terrible idea, actually, Steve. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
would
mean,
be easy to move around in and such. So
yeah,
yeah,
and it wouldn't be
it's not
too
terrible.
hot, right?
No, it'd probably be all
Those
right.
do. I mean, they don't breathe a ton, but they're not like.
The Zentai suits, yeah, but it's also not like black fucking leather and shit.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go through the tickle trunk and see what we can put together. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. That's gonna be in a couple weeks. So
yeah, maybe I'll bring freeze. I don't know. I'll see.
yep. And I should be getting the mock-ups, by the way, for the leatherwork for Cronin at Niagara. So my buddy,
Niagara.
So Sam Sino that's working on it. He works Niagara Falls Comic Con. He's one of the guys that's involved in there. So he said he'll have
coming to
Anime North. He might be, but we agreed that we would meet it. I would give him until Niagara Falls to get the initial mock-up done, so we can get it all fitted and make sure it's all going to work, and then he'll have it ready to go for me by Fan Expo, so I can wear it then. So I'll have the 2 new cosplays to debut at Fan Expo. So that'll be good times. Any hoodles?
Should we talk about some quick Marvel announcements?
Sure.
There's a couple things that I think we need to address. Being the podcast that we are and the nerds that we are, there is a new division at Marvel called Marvel Television.
Yep.
Official division of Marvel with their own logo.
Well, it's the they went back to. Well, that's what it was called.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they folded it in, and now they've chunked it off again.
And then they've chopped it off again. Yeah, so now it's Marvel Television, and instead of just Marvel Studios, which I guess is what the movies are branded as, Marvel Studios.
Yeah, so like it used to be. So
yeah.
So the goal initially when they launched Disney Plus is to make Marvel shows that would tie directly into
Correct.
the MCU timeline, and so they brought it all under one studio to better manage that and make it easier to keep track of it all. Now, apparently, because everybody feels so burdened to have to watch every minute of every little thing, and they said it well, yes and no, because the way they mentioned it, they were like, well, it'll be connected, but it won't. Like, it'll only be tangentially connected, or it'll only be like adjacently connected. And I don't think they understand what geeks and nerds are like. Like, if you're telling me there's going to be any level of connection between them, and there's a reference later on that I'm not going to get because I didn't watch this thing, I'm still going to feel left out. I'm still going to feel like an asshole or an idiot because I didn't see that thing.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think I'm going to play the devil's advocate here for a second. And then I think for me, what they're saying is for the people that aren't stupid, crazy nerds like we are, that want to be able to watch these and enjoy these, but they don't feel like they can because they haven't seen everything. They're not going to have to anymore.
Yes,
that's the goal. Be able to enjoy them individually for what they are. Does it mean that they're not going to have any references to other things? No, because these shows are still going to be canon. They're still technically going to be part of the MCU, as in, yeah, they're going to be their own thing, but the characters still exist within that same universe. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say here?
No, because if you think so, if they introduce a new character that is going to be part of the greater tapestry or the greater universe, but that show that they introduce the character to is no longer required watching for the entirety of it, then if you bring that character in later on in a film or in another different whatever, if you haven't watched the show, then you have no basis. This is what I mean. So either it has to be an almost completely separate thing, or it's got to be connected. You can't do this wishy-washy kind of connected but kind of not, right? So they explained it really badly, and I'm curious to see how it turns out. Like, if you have something like a What If, where it's designed specifically so it doesn't necessarily tie in, that's fine. But that's supposed to be. It's called What If for a reason. These are things that are not actually happening, and they're not canonical. But if you're putting canonical shows together, how do you not have them tied in to the greater tapestry of? I don't know. I don't know. Connected but not was exactly the words they used, and I'm like, that makes no sense. Either they are or they aren't, man. Like, what are you trying to tell me? So I'm a little concerned. And then they just talked they're doing a Vision series.
Are they really? I didn't see that.
You didn't see this? Oh my God, it's everywhere. So Variety broke the news. So Terry Matalas,
Yeah,
and if that sounds familiar, from Star Trek Picard, so he's landed the new gig as showrunner. It was right now. It's only going to be called Vision. It's an upcoming TV series, which sees the return of the robot character played by Paul Bettany. As a result, a Vision with a ghost white appearance and all its memories restored is expected to appear.
Set for 2026.
So, again, the question here is, why the balls do a Vision show with Paul Bettany if you have no intention of bringing Vision back into the greater MCU or to future Avengers movies or whatever? Like, how will this somehow not be connected? But be connected.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is an example of kind of what I'm talking about. That this gets announced after they talked about it being a separate entity, and yet they're taking an already established character that if you haven't watched WandaVision, you're probably not going to have a clue what the fuck. Like, you're going to be like, why is he white? Why does he look so weird? Why are there two of them? Like, you're not going to have a clue what's happening. Mm-hmm. And then whatever result of this is, whether he's back or not, if it doesn't have any lasting effect on the rest of it, then who fucking cares? I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's such a weird place they're in right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that what's going on here is a lot of these shows, these characters that are going to be in shows are going to be characters that are in shows. You're not going to get a Daredevil movie.
No, right? And I don't expect to, but are you going to have Daredevil appear in future films of ensemble films, right?
Yeah, it's possible that character makes an appearance with like 50 other characters. Sure, that's possible. Is it going to matter that you know who that character is? Probably not.
I guess we'll find out. I mean, because in this case, it's the problem. Well, sure, Agatha's.
They're not going to make an Agatha movie.
No. And who cares if she appeared? But she's a baddie, so like, who cares? But Vision's like an Avenger. Like, Vision was in the Avengers films, 3 of them to be exact, and Civil. You know what I mean? It's not like he's like a nobody. He's fucking Vision. So like, what are you doing with that character? Are you actually bringing him back? And if you are, why are you putting it on TV? And if the TV doesn't connect, then then is he going to appear in the movies? And if he does, are you going to explain in the movies, which you already explained?
Maybe they're just not planning on bringing that character back to the movies at any point in the near future.
No, Eric is explaining to us like I haven't seen it. I've seen it all. I know exactly what because Wanda basically downloaded Vision. Yeah, no, that's all super cool. My point is, if it's no longer going to be connected, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Flashbacks and a lot of them. Yeah, that doesn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. It should be interesting.
Have the title of the Agatha show, which has finally been revealed as Agatha all along.
So stupid.
Yeah, so stupid. And it's going to be a musical.
So no thanks.
Another musical after the Joker musical. Now we've got the Witch musical.
No thanks. 4th title of the show, kids. The 4th title. The 4th. Yeah. What are you doing? Stop. Yeah. Stop. What?
Yeah.
They keep changing Agatha's title. Yeah, they sure do. And I can't even figure out why. Like, what was the original? Because then it was Coven of Chaos, and then it was Darkhold Diaries, and now it's Agatha all along. I don't remember. The first one, from what I remember, I thought that one was the best one, and now I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It is what it is. I'm sure it'll find an audience. I love Catherine Hahn. I thought she was fantastic on WandaVision, but does she need her own show? I don't think so. Does it need to be a musical? Super doesn't.
No.
It wasn't just Agatha. No. It's original title. Hang on.
Yeah, I forget. It was. They announced it at the end of WandaVision, right? Agatha will be back in blah blah blah. And that's when they announced the title, wasn't it?
House of Harkness. House of Harkness was the first title. Then it was Coven of Chaos. Then it was Darkhold Diaries, and now it's Agatha all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? House of
Yeah.
Darkness. There we go. Yeah, Andre's got my back.
House of Darkness. The Heartness of Darkness. Look at that.
Terrible.
There you go.
Harkness of Darkness. Yeah, no, terrible. Terrible. Yeah, guys, I think we all know Marvel's in a bit of a tailspin, and I think at this point they're probably just kind of trying to figure out how they can right the ship. And Bob Iger, who came back in to take charge again, has been very, very clear that they pumped out way too much product in way too short a period of time, and they just watered the product down so much that you got shit like Secret Invasion, which was just dog shit. Because it didn't matter, and none of it made any who cares? And now they've had a string of films that weren't received terribly well. The only thing they've had recently that was received well was Guardians 3, and before that, I don't even know what the one was. So they're struggling. They're trying to find their place. They're trying to make some changes to make it right. And are we at a point now where the ship's already taking on too much water? I don't know. Is this the beginning of the end? And then all the Jonathan Majors things happen. Are we watching the sinking ship happen as we speak?
I mean, I think we might be. Is there possibly a way? Keep it afloat? A way to save that Marvel ship? They're sure going to try. Listen, they're going to throw bucket loads of money at this, right? With the amount of money that they made off this franchise. They're going to do everything they can to try to keep it afloat. And keep
it's because Guardians of the Bomb. Shut up, Tree. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's very obvious. Disney Plus was the beginning bell of doom for Marvel when they just started to shotgun way too much product out. When you get 2 or 3 movies a year and they're big event, and then every 2 or 3 years you get a huge crossover film. Those were events, man. And then it just became a weekly thing, and everybody was like, well, I don't. If you have steak 3 times a year, it's great. If you have steak every day, eventually you're just like, it's just steak, man. Who cares? You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, I agree.
This is why the Downey rumors keep rumbling. Yeah, apparently the Downey and the Evans rumors, they've shot those down multiple times. I don't know that saves it at this point, because it's going to seem cheap. It's going to seem like they're just being brought in to save it.
Well, that's exactly what it
right?
Right? Let's be honest. It's all a gimmick to try to get people back.
Downey just won an Oscar. I don't think you're getting Downey back. I really don't. I could see Evans coming back before you got Downey back.
You might be able to get Downey back for a cameo here and there.
Wouldn't that feel cheap after the big death scene at Endgame? Wouldn't that feel kind of cheap to you?
Depends on how they pull it through, right? Like if we get another multiverse style movie where we get, I don't know, a different Iron Man from a different universe, and the mask opens up, and it's him, right? And it's a 2-second scene, and I can see something like that happening just for fan service. I can't see him coming back and being like a main character in one of these movies again. No way.
Yeah, even the cameo things would seem super cheap. I would rather have what they talked about. Everybody thought was going to happen in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2, where he shows up and it's Tom Cruise instead of.
Well, they thought it was going to be superior Iron Man, which is a different. He's the evil Iron Man, right?
He's a different iteration or whatever.
Yeah,
right? That I'd be on board for, but I don't know, man. It just seems like anything. Like I said, Evans coming back would actually feel less cheap than Downey coming back. You gave him one of the best death scenes in cinema history, and you took 10 years to build up to this one fucking moment where he says, "I am Iron Man," snaps his fingers and dies. I don't think you can bring him back without that feeling like it's like you've cheapened his death. Personally, for me, that's how I would feel about it. Cameo or guest starring role or whatever it would be, I think that would be a mistake. But hey, man, I don't run Disney. That's not.
There's a rumor they filmed 2 endings, one where he dies and one where he doesn't.
Oh, really?
Don't know if that's true.
I saw the cut scene where everybody takes a knee when he dies. Everybody kneels, and they cut that out. And I'm like, why would you cut that out? That's perfect.
Yeah, that wasn't in the movie. I don't know why they did that.
No, weird. Very weird cut.
Anyways. And the cast, when at the funeral, at the end, the Tony Stark's funeral, they didn't know they were going to a funeral. They thought they were going to the wedding. And when they all got there, they were all dressed in black, and they were all like, what's going on here? Yeah. They didn't know. The only person that knew was him.
Kevin Feige and Robbie Downey Jr.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure some of the crew knew, but yeah.
Yeah, this Andre. Yeah, man, there were a lot of rumors for Doctor Strange 2 that never really panned out, and the ones we did see died in like 5 minutes. Yeah,
Well, exactly. Like Doctor Strange 2 is such a disappointment to me. Like there was so much potential. There were so many cool things they were promising us, and then wait,
none
what?
of it
That
came
was
to
it?
pass.
Yeah, like what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like what the fuck?
Like the meme for that now is as like the Mephisto thing for WandaVision, where everybody thought Mephisto was going to be the bad, and they teased all these different ways that he was going to appear, and at the end it was, hey, guess what? It was Agatha all along, and that was supposed to be this cheeky fun thing, and everybody's like, but wait, Mephisto, you guys set up all this shit, and then you never did anything with it.
Yeah, it's
Anyways.
yeah.
It's Marvel, guys. We know what it is. What it is. It's going to sink or it's going to swim. I have a feeling we're watching the death knell of Marvel as we speak, of the MCU, but I've been wrong before. Maybe it'll find a way to recover. Maybe it'll just limp along for the next 10 years. Maybe they'll do another Avengers movie and it will be bonkers. Maybe Shang-Chi 2 will come out and people will love it as much as the first one for whatever weird reason. Maybe they'll have something that will really... Remember, we do have Deadpool and Wolverine coming up in like a week or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, I think
And that's already
what's gonna
breaking.
save-
That's already breaking records on pre-ticket sales.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to save Marvel is the Fox properties coming back. X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool. That's where Marvel needs to focus. That's how they're now going to make their money, right?
Fantastic Four, man. That's they've tried 3 times and they've failed 3 times. I that's such a tough nut to crack, man.
It is. But if anybody can do it, Kevin Feige is the guy to do it.
I mean,
Look at what he did to Iron Man, right?
No, I
Iron
get
Man was
it.
the friggin' character, right?
Yeah.
And he became the face of the MCU.
no, I get it. But
You know.
then as soon as him and Evans were gone, it's like they didn't know what to do, Feige included. So
Fair enough.
they're certainly not going to make Deadpool the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe moving forward. So
no.
I don't know that this necessarily saves. Even if this is a monster hit, it means the next one also has to be a monster hit. And if it's not, this ends up looking like a bloop as opposed to like the launch point of
True.
right.
True. But I mean,
anyways.
they've already got a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. That being said, you know what other slow death I've been watching lately?
What's that?
Star Trek Discovery. That's right, guys. Star Trek Discovery. It's coming to an end. It's been canceled. We've got 1 more episode or 2 more episodes. I forget how many more. So for those of you that are Trekkies out there that hated Enterprise but love Discovery, you're not going to be happy. For those that were the opposite, the actual Trekkies,
I fucking hate you so much. So much.
Okay. Eric says 2, so there's 2 more episodes apparently. New episode today, I guess, and next week. I guess there's 10 episodes. Okay, let's be serious. We can't deny that Discovery has been the most divisive Star Trek series of all time, even more than Enterprise. Right? I mean, Enterprise, a lot of people didn't like it, but it didn't get shit on the way that Discovery
Nobody
gets shit
watched
on.
it. There's a difference, I think.
Fair enough.
Right? Yeah.
Whereas Discovery had a couple of good seasons before it all went to shit. I think that's where the difference is everybody jumped on Discovery because it was the launching point for all these new Star Treks that we're getting, right? And you've said it a couple times now. We wouldn't have any of those,
right,
without Discovery,
right.
But yeah, season 3 took a turn to left field, bud, and holy shit, like.
Which is funny because the concept of season 3, them jumping 800 years to the future to escape all the canon that they had to
100%. Yeah.
Getting shackled by. I have nothing but respect for that. And then, like I said, season 4 was okay, but largely forgettable. Season 5, I have actually been really enjoying. I've really liked the addition of Rayner. Rayner's a fantastic character. I've really liked him. I loved having Tilly back as well. So like there's aspects of it that I really enjoyed. And I like the fact that it's coming across more like, and Jonathan Frakes had said this going into season 5, that this was going to be more action adventure style storytelling as opposed to deeply cerebral stuff that they kind of got into in 4. And that's kind of what it's been. It's been like almost like a Scooby-Doo mystery of the week. every week for them trying to find these clues and put these puzzle pieces together.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, of course.
So they found a really good way to turn a long story arc show into almost an episodic show.
Right.
By, like you're saying, having the mystery of the week, right? We're looking for clues. It's a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
This year's season of Discovery is a scavenger hunt, guys, and they're looking for every episode. Now they're going for the next clue, and now they're going for the next clue, and each clue has its own challenge and its own mystery and its own, I'd like to say its own moral of the story, but
a little bit.
Kind of lost that a little bit, which they've tried to inject too much lovey-dovey stuff. Ooh, I care about you. Ooh, Care Bears. But there's no more morals to these stories, right? So
of course there is, but I mean that's okay. We're taking different things out of it for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's been a Feely. It's been a Feely show right from the very beginning.
100%.
So
Less
if that
this
was
year. Less
yes, correct. Other than the sort of the will they won't they between Burnham and Book.
Yeah, just get that over with, man. Like
Okay, so let me say this. Let me counter your opening statements that I'm going to punch you for as hard as I can when I see you tomorrow. It's important to note that they had shot the entirety of season 5.
Yeah.
And then they were told the show was canceled after this season.
Oh,
they
really?
were able to go back and add in a couple of shoots to sort of try to bookend the very last episode.
Right.
But that's why you're not seeing cameos and people coming back in or whatever, because they didn't even film it as though it's going to be the final season. Because like when we watch the final season of Picard, everybody knows it's the final season of Picard, so they throw everything at you and it works like a motherfucker because you know this is all you're going to get. We're done. So here's everything, all the fan service, all the cameos, the ship, the fucking song, everything you ever wanted. It's all there. Perfect. Discovery, they've got it all shot. They've got it all in a can. They introduce new characters and new worlds and this whole thing. And then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, guys, there's no more. And they were like, excuse me, what? So they did let them come back and shoot a couple of scenes, I guess, but not like a couple of episodes. They like got to add on a couple of scenes to the final thing. So it's going to be, I think, it's going to end up being a letdown, even though they kind of got back to basics with this season, making it more like a swashbuckling adventure style thing, probably making it feel the most Trek out of any of the seasons of Discovery so far. I think it's still going to end up being a letdown for a lot of people because they didn't know they were making the final season when they made it. So
see, I wasn't aware of that because we found out this was going to be their last season like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So Sonequa Martin Green has been very upfront about the fact that they were not told. And I don't know if she was the one that was spilled it or somebody else that spilled it about the fact that they were able to come back and shoot like 2 or 3 additional scenes.
Right.
And that's it. So unlike something like Lower Decks and like I said, like a Picard and stuff where they know that the upcoming season is the last season, so then they can prep for it. But like shows will have, like the Orville is another good example of it. Like the last season of the Orville was probably the last season we'll ever get of the Orville, but they didn't know that, so they didn't film it as such, right? So whereas when you saw Next Gen, or very much in particular DS9, they knew that was the last season of DS9, so they tried to wrap up as many of the storylines as they could and give characters arcs that would continue on past or whatever, because they know what's going to happen. Discovery didn't get that. So I think it's going to make it ultimately let down, and I think it sucks because it looks like the show is kind of finally getting back to where it needed to be in the first place to kind of start winning some of the fan base back over. Some of the fan base are just like the Zack Snyder haters. Like some of the fan base just fucking hate it because it's Discovery. Like they decided they were going to hate it, and they're just going to hate it, and it doesn't matter how up or down or good or bad it might get. They're just like, fuck this. But this season, for me anyway, because even by season 4, I was halfway through season 4, and I'm like, oh, am I going to keep going with this show, or am I going to finally ditch it as well? I stuck with it. Don't get me wrong.
Season 4 was real hard to get through.
Yeah.
Real hard to get through.
Yeah. And I think only because of the lead up and then the ultimate letdown to season 3. Because season 3 had the potential.
Well,
season
I don't
3
know,
had, to me, season 3 had the potential to be, if the burn turns out to be almost anything else, I think it has the potential to be amazing. Like I said, that's when they jump to the future. They find out all the ships have been destroyed, Starfleet's in shambles, no one has warp drive. Like all the pieces are there to make this amazing thing, and you find out that it's the Borg, or you find out that it's some cool thing, and then it turns out it's just some angry Kelpian kid, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? So then when you go into season 4, you're like, do I care now? Like, doesn't matter. They meet this new species that they got to figure out how to talk to with math while it's destroying. Like, none of it matters, right? Now they're finally onto something where it's like, oh, they're chasing this tech that has the ability to like raise the dead and kill people and en masse, and like it's like there's stakes that make more sense now than they did in the last 2 seasons. So
because it's a scavenger hunt, right? It's a race to the ultimate technology.
That's what you should be doing as Trek.
Yeah,
100%.
so it's a play on an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
The progenitor tech, yes.
Progenitor tech, right?
From 30 years ago. It's called The Chase. So
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Ties into Next Gen, which is cool. It's nice they're having that little nod. They've had like a picture of Picard up on the fucking screen while they're talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. I like that it's almost like a tip of the cap. Like we know where we came from. We know we're all only here because of Next Gen. Next Gen launches back in 87 and fails miserably. None of this fucking happens. So good for them, man. Good for them to tying it back into without like filleting it. You know what I mean? Without like, it was just like, yep, this is where it came from, and now we're going to do it. Like it could have been like they just like spanked Next Gen all the way throughout this entire series, and they haven't. They just made the nod early on, and they're like, okay, we're going to do our own thing. Cool, man. I respect that. That's good. Yeah. We already got all the fan service we needed from Picard season 3. We didn't need more of it here. Guilty on the Zack Snyder front. Andre, curse you, sir. Curse you.
Yeah. Now, so all in all, you're loving it right now. Sounds like
I'm enjoying it. Yes, like I said, I feel like it's a return to form. It just sucks that now that it's finally hitting its stride again, it's going to be done. But we got some news on Star Trek Academy. They have a casting. Did you see this?
I did not.
Oh, so Holly Hunter.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yes. Has been officially cast. The first person to be officially listed as cast for Starfleet Academy. It's actually kind of like, I assume Starfleet Academy was going to be some sort of like, kind of like Gen V was to The Boys, where it was going to be like some terrible CW teen drama. But while Holly Hunter's not like, she's like an Academy Award winning actress. Like she's not a teen. She's not like I thought it'd just be Riverdale in space. But if they're bringing in someone like Holly Hunter already to sort of anchor the cast of the show, to me, that's a good sign, personally.
Hopefully.
If they tell it from that point of view. I'm assuming this is a vehicle for them to take Tilly off of Discovery and put her in this new show, because that's where she was working the last 2 years with Starfleet Academy.
Correct.
So that's my assumption, that they'll have her there. So it may not necessarily be some shitty teen drama. It may actually be a Star Trek show.
Yeah, and it sounds like the Academy is on Starbase 1, which means that we're probably going to keep seeing Saru. We're probably going to keep seeing, what's her name? The chick he's getting married to, the president of whatever New Vulcan's called now.
I don't remember.
I forget her name now.
Yeah. Starts with a T. Starts with a T. Like all Vulcan female names, it starts with a T.
Yeah. So, I'm sure we're going to get some recurring characters from Discovery that are going to like come
tilapia?
Back for I don't know.
That's a fish. It's not tilapia.
Yeah.
It's not.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what direction they take with this show.
Toys R Us? Tinkerbell? I don't know.
I'm more disappointed that Lower Decks is ending.
Yeah, fuck off, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Me. That's the one that kills me.
No shit.
It's like the best Star Wars show we've had since, Picard was very good, Picard Season 3, but besides Picard Season 3, Lower Decks has just been fucking excellent since it started. I don't get it. I don't get why they're canceling it. Is it not popular? Are people not liking it?
I don't know. It's hard to tell when it's a streaming only show. You and I have talked about this ad nauseum as far as streaming goes, but it's hard to quantify. Only the streamer knows specifically who has clicked on that and watched that show, and they don't release those numbers. So if they're canceling it, my assumption is there's not enough people clicking on it to watch the show. would be my assumption. But it's one of those things where, like, yeah, everybody, guys, we have our Wars and we have our Trek, right? And it's very obvious that Wars has been much more broadly appealing than Trek. It has been, Trek's been around longer, but no Trek thing has ever made $2.5 billion at the box office, right? Like Wars is a more broad-based, more widely appealing thing. Trek has always been like like the nerdier thing. It's more technical. It's
not this season of Discovery, because when you're creating a vacuum and the fire's, I'm out of air, I can't breathe, but the fire's still burning, no problem. Like, come on, dudes, like, what are you fucking doing? Like,
I don't even know what you're talking about. But
dude, in one of the episodes a couple weeks ago, where they go to this planet where the kid wants to sacrifice herself so that it'll rain, and they go into this machine, and then she's trying to tell the guy it's just a machine. The sacrifice doesn't matter. It's just a fucking machine. It's going to create a vacuum.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
in the space, and it's going to then rain, and then he opens the door, destroying the vacuum, but it still rains. And I'm like, you spent 5 minutes telling us how the machine worked for the machine to work not like you said it was.
Because they fixed the machine earlier in the episode.
Like, what the fuck? Like, no,
you don't pay attention. You're terrible.
No. Listen, if the machine was already fixed, then they didn't even need to be there, right?
Correct. They didn't. That's why they had to crack it open, because they didn't need to be there, and she broke the Prime Directive to get her out of there because they fixed the machine already.
Well, exactly. So now the machine was working.
Yes,
and now the machine was going to create a vacuum, and it was going to suck the air out. Anyway, that said,
why do we have this
conversation? They're a little wishy-washy with some of the stuff that they've been doing lately.
Terrible.
I will say this, though.
That was my least favorite episode in this.
Yeah, that one was a little.
That one sucked. That one sucked. No,
yeah.
That one just sucked. That one was not good.
At the firefight, when they first meet Locke and Maul on the ISS Enterprise. So, guys, as a spoiler, if you haven't seen the season of Discovery, they find the ISS Enterprise, the Mirror Universe Enterprise, from the original Star Trek show, basically. Now, it's dressed up as our current Enterprise from
Strange
New Worlds. Thank you. But anyway, so they go on board the ISS, they meet Maul and Locke, and they have this crazy firefight in sickbay. Dude, that was dope. That firefight was some of the best action I've seen in Star Trek in a long fucking time. That's when I was like, okay, now I think they're starting to go somewhere. Now they're starting to, people are getting involved that know what they're doing here. Right. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'll say it. This season of Discovery is much, much better than the last two seasons. It still has its issues. It's still Michael Burnham's show. She's still the one that figures it out every time. That is the savior every time. But
okay, hold on. Let me get in here. So first of all, apparently, from what I understand, what I've read since then, it was always meant to be the Michael Burnham show.
Possibly.
That's what it was from the jump.
Yeah.
Second of all, let me ask you this. This might get spicy, guys. So strap in a little bit. This might actually get a little bit spicy.
Okay.
Why is it when a guy is the chosen one, or picks up on things immediately, or is the hero, or solves all the problems, or kicks down all the doors, or is the total badass? He's a total badass. But when a female character does all the same things, she's a Mary Sue.
Like who?
What do you mean, like who?
What guy?
John McClane, John Wick, Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, every hero that's ever been in any franchise that becomes the chosen one, that solves everything, that's really good at everything right away because they're the chosen one. When it's a guy, he's the hero. When it's a girl, she's a Mary Sue. Why is that?
I don't think that's accurate.
That's 100% accurate.
I don't think that's accurate
gave you
at
a
all.
bunch of examples.
I don't think. Okay.
Everybody called Ray a Mary Sue.
Sarah Connor, and Mary Sue.
No, because she didn't solve all the things.
Yeah, so that I think that breaks that.
JS,
argument,
what did
right?
Sarah Connor do?
She was a badass, right?
I didn't say no. I didn't. No. I didn't say they had to be a badass. What I said was someone that solves your problems with Michael Burnham is that she always solves all the problems and she's the center of everything. So that makes her a Mary Sue.
No, I never said it makes her a Mary Sue. I never even said that word.
Guys, go watch JS's YouTube video, his latest ranting about Discovery. He actually calls her a Mary Sue.
Yeah, I don't think I call her a Mary Sue.
You 100% call her a Mary Sue.
And here's why I call her a Mary Sue, because she should be in jail. She's the only person that was actually in jail when the show started, and somehow weaseled her way back as the captain of a fucking ship. She should be in fucking jail.
You're
she
right.
started a fucking war with the Klingon.
Absolutely. Because
right?
Kirk never broke any of the rules, and Cisco never broke any of the rules. And
okay, but again, you're making comparisons to characters that they weren't baby Jesus, right? It wasn't the Captain Kirk show. It was Kirk, Spock, and Bones. Always.
Yeah, but it was still mostly okay. But it was still, dude. I'm bringing it up to argue with you specifically because it was a term you used, and you're not alone. I'm not spanking you for this. I'm speaking in general.
Yeah.
Guys don't seem to like it when the woman is the person that's figuring everything out. Okay, name one that's not Sarah Connor, because she never actually solved anything. She just gave birth to, by the way, the guy that ended up being the savior. Again, a badass, right?
I mean, she killed the fucking alien queen. She's the one that saves the goddamn ship.
Yes. What did she solve? So is Rey a Mary Sue?
Alien invasion.
Is Rey a Mary Sue?
I feel like Rey is a Mary Sue. Yes.
Why?
Rey from Star Wars?
Yes.
Rey from Star Wars?
Yes.
So a lot of people make the argument, why is Rey a Mary Sue and Luke is not? Luke actually had to struggle before he even was able to use the Force.
Why does that matter? Why does that matter?
Well, because that's the whole point of that's what that means. The term Mary Sue means you just being able to do everything without having to earn it.
Why is that only applied to women?
It's not. There are plenty of male characters that are Mary Sues.
Never been applied to a dude in the history of the free world.
Oh, dude, they call them Gary Sues. There's literally a term for it.
Never heard that term in my life.
Oh,
I hear the term Mary Sue all the fucking time.
You've never heard the term Gary Sue, bud. Now that's selective.
Guys, shout me out in the chat. Who has heard the term Gary Sue? And please tell me the characters that you've heard this term applied to. Because not only have I never heard the term, I've never heard it applied to anybody either.
Sorry, Gary Stews, not Gary Sues. Gary Stews. I got it wrong.
Never. You didn't even get it right, let alone have you ever heard of it.
So yeah. So either way, this is if it's going to be the Michael Burnham show, why wasn't it called Star Trek Burnham? Like you had Star Trek Picard.
Well, because she wasn't a character until Picard was already an established character for 30 years. You can call the show Star Trek Picard. You can't call the show Star Trek Burnham because everybody's going to be like, "What's a fucking Burnham?"
I feel like we were a little bit ripped off of having a proper cast of characters. Here's another point: the main bridge crew is usually always there, right? But on Discovery, we haven't seen them like Detmer and Owoshikun and what's the other one? Like, we haven't seen a lot of those characters at all.
Yes. So Detmer and Owoshikun are on the ISS Enterprise taking it back to the Fleet Museum, apparently.
Right.
I don't know if that's from what I've heard, it might be a budgetary issue.
Yeah.
It also might have been a scheduling issue with those two actors specifically.
It could be. It could
be. Google Gary Stu got Mary Sue. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's
so apparently. So I guess if you watch especially the first two seasons of the original Trek, the TOS, those old scientists, I guess it was very much the same.
Was so genius, those old scientists, bud.
Brilliant. I guess it was very much the same thing. I guess that the bridge crew was always sort of cycling people in and out. They were never really a focus. It was still very much the big three. And even of the big three, it was mostly just Kirk and Spock. Bones was like the third, but the other ones on the bridge would constantly be rotating in and out. Never really got until the late half of season 2 and then into season 3 when they started to develop storylines for those characters specifically. I guess especially in that first season, they were just kind of like toss away. Like none of them were. It didn't become an ensemble. The problem is I think we all hold up the next gen as like, this is the model that we need to use. It has to be an ensemble cast. You have to have a minimum of 5 to 7 people, and everybody has to have some level of like everybody's got to have a type. I think what they've done, and I don't know why the focus is so heavy on the bridge crew. What Discovery has done is just broadened it out so that it's not the bridge crew. You get Stamets and engineering with Adira. You get Hugh the Doctor. Now you have Book. There's still a main cast of characters. It's just they're not on the bridge per se, because a lot of Discovery action doesn't actually happen on the bridge of the ship. It mostly happens in other locales.
And that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair comment. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, and actually, very little of the actual show happens on the bridge, right? Especially if you look at a show like Next Gen,
where it's all on the bridge.
Mostly happens on the
Yeah,
bridge.
it's almost exclusively on the bridge.
It's the bridge and the engineering, right?
Yeah,
and forward.
Yeah, we built two sets, and here they are.
Yeah,
you better fucking use them.
Yeah. No, and that's a fair comment, right? Like a lot of the show is spent basically on location, right? On a planet or doing stuff.
Our buddy John saying it only took 5 seasons of Discovery for people to notice who they were and that they are gone on the ISS now.
Kind of goes along with the point I was making in my first.
I've always agreed with you that they have not had a huge focus on the rest of the bridge crew. I think other than Saru obviously was the big one, and Tilly was the other big one. And then they did give a nice little storyline to Ariam, the android that they had to begin the show before she went, and then they got her off. It's boring just to be on the bridge. Yeah, then they started giving Detmer and Awushikon more stuff to do, and they kind of brought those two into more of the main characters, and so you got to know them a little bit better, and you get to see what they were like and start to develop them just in time for them to be like, okay,
we're gone.
You guys get off the ship now, and you're not there for most of the episode. And now Saru hasn't been on the last few episodes either.
No.
Doug Jones has said he will be back on the show. Like, keep watching. He'll be back before the show's done, but he's just disappeared.
Sure, but yeah.
So I don't know if that's a scheduling conflict with him, because I know he's very busy with all his other projects, but
what is he working on right now? Do you know?
I'd have to look it up. But I mean, he's been. Did I talk about this on the podcast? Do you remember Mac Tonight from McDonald's? Do you remember that ad, Mac Tonight from McDonald's? Make it Mac Tonight, and it was a guy with a big
singing at the piano with the moon, and
that's Doug fucking Jones.
Is it really?
Doug Jones was Mac Tonight. No. I just saw a fucking documentary about Mac Tonight, and as soon as they said Doug Jones, I was like, no fucking way. And I had to look it up, and sure as shit, it's Doug Jones.
It's Doug Jones in the moon.
Yes.
Thing.
So for those oldies like us, McDonald's had an ad campaign back in the 90s where they had a guy with a big puppet moon head. I guess most people were having McDonald's for lunch, and they wanted to try to make sure like people knew that you could have it for dinner. So they wanted people to come in for Make It Mac Tonight, and they had like a piano set up, and they had these songs and a guy in this big huge puppet moon thing with a fucking suit on and everything else. A documentary about Mac Tonight, What a World, says John. Yeah. It's actually on. I think it's called Secret Galaxy. It's a YouTube channel I watch. They do really cool like deep dives. They did a big deep dive on Robotech and all the different iterations of that and shit. And V I watch for our buddy Michael there. But yeah, they did Mac Tonight, and as soon as they said Doug Jones, I'm like, there's no way it's the same Doug Jones. It's the same Doug Jones. So Doug Jones has been doing character stuff like that literally for the last like 30 years. Name a weird looking character that's appeared in Hollywood at some point. It's probably been Doug Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
the dude is such an amazing physical actor. Who, by the way, a lot of the people in the channel have probably met him. He does the con circuit. He's been around to Canadian cons quite a bit. So you've probably had an opportunity to interact with Doug Jones at some point or another. And from what I understand,
wasn't he at Pinnacle, I think last year or the year before?
Maybe the year before. From what I gather, he's a super nice dude. Like everybody that I know that's interacted with Doug has said he's like the sweetest man. So I'm
surprised that they don't have them here at these shows more often, because they film the show here. Right.
Well,
I'm surprised.
Funny enough,
if you look at the Strange New World cast, they're at every show.
So I didn't want to I'm not going to show the picture.
Oh yes, we should talk about this quickly. Yes.
Michael. Funny enough, our friends of the channel here, I don't know if they're still in here or not, but Tanith and Michael went and saw Transformers.
So what was happening is there was an anniversary. I forget what the anniversary was. So they released the original Transformers TV show. I can't remember if it was the first 5 episodes or whatever it was, but they released some of the original Transformers episodes in theater. I think it was for 3 days only.
So they go to the theater. I don't even know that they're going. And then we have a group chat going on, and all of a sudden we get a picture in this group chat, and it's these two monkeys, and standing behind them with a big shit-eating grin on his face is Ethan Peck, who plays Spock on Strange New Worlds. Michael looks like he's going to explode, because I don't know if there's anybody on planet Earth that Michael loves more than Ethan Peck. I think I think he had some sort of a cardio malfunction or infarction. Tanith, I don't know if her feet hit the ground. You can share the pic. I'm looking for it here. I can't. I'm trying to find it. I think I'm almost there. There it is. All right, hold on. I'll save the pic here.
It looks like it was actually only just the one.
He
day.
is a devilishly handsome man. There's no question there. I'll save image. There we go. I'll save it as an image and open just the image. I won't do it right from the chat because.
So the first 4 episodes is what was released in theaters, and it was only one day on May 15th. And that's pretty dope. I mean, how many times has Michael gone to see Ethan Peck at like Fan Expo and Comic-Con and
myocardial infarction? Thank you. Apparently, and he knew. Like he recognized Michael.
Like you saw Michael's like, hey, what's up, Michael?
The V guy.
That's hilarious. All right, pop that on screen. There it is.
So,
right there.
Yes, there is jacked Ethan Peck. This is not as smiley as Michael got. This is probably Michael still in shock at this point. Yeah. So to JS's point, the cast is just they're filming in Toronto at the time. So at any given moment, you could just run into any of the cast that are just there to hang out. And then apparently they were sitting in Ethan's seats in the theater, like it was assigned seating, and Ethan had to be like, I think you're in my seats.
Were they really? That's hilarious.
Something along those lines anyway. Like just like the most ridiculous thing you could possibly imagine. He's so freaking good too. I love my Spock. He does make a very good Spock. It's another one of those things.
It's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You're good. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's funny when he started as Spock on Discovery Season 2, people hated him.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
people
did
fucking
they ever?
hated him because at that point he was like a bum, right? Long hair,
the beard,
the weird.
Yeah.
You know, people were like, what the hell is this? How is this Spock? Blah, blah, blah. And look.
Now it's,
he's like, I
think
he's perfect. Yeah, he's perfect for Spock.
I think they've been pretty lucky even with, because I think even Zachary Quinto in the Kelvin Universe movies, I think makes an really excellent Spock as well. So I think they've been very, very lucky on recasting arguably one of the most iconic roles in television history. So the writing really took Spock in a different direction at first. Yeah, it was weird. They had him set up as a mystery box, and I didn't enjoy that at all. And then ultimately the payoff wasn't good, especially how they kind of introduced him like he'd gone crazy, and it was such a weird arc for a character that we were already so familiar with that we were like, this isn't #not my Spock, you know what I mean, type of thing.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they got him on the ship and got him cleaned up, and then of course they get him over onto Strange New Worlds, and he slowly is becoming the Spock that we know. It puts us in a better place where we can be like, oh, now I'm starting to recognize sort of what's happening with him for sure. But good for our two friends there, getting to see him and at the theater, and justice for Ray. Yeah, hashtag justice for Ray. The guys, Strange New Worlds, killing it, absolutely killing it. We're gonna get to a point soon, right? So Picard is done. We talked about this before too. This is the last. We have one more episode of Discovery, and Discovery's done.
Well, 2 counting today's, but yeah.
It's counting today's. We have one more season of Lower Decks, and then that's done.
And then that's
so
done.
We have Starfleet Academy coming as a weekly show, I'm assuming. And then however long they're going to have Strange New Worlds for. And those will be the only 2 shows. The Section 31 one's going to be a TV movie, so that's going to be like a one-shot.
Yeah.
But then no more shows.
Nothing else has been announced.
Right.
There is speculation that whatever they want to call it, right? Prodigy's gone. It's already gone.
No. Hold on. So they sold it to Netflix. If you let me finish, I'll be happy to tell you. They shot the second season but never aired it, and they were happy to not air it, and then Netflix bought it. So, but Netflix only bought the second season, like the first and second season. Netflix is not committed to making more. So right now there's 2 seasons. One of which never aired on Paramount Plus at all. Only the first season did. They finished it, and they were like, we're not going to air it. We're just going to sell it. And it didn't look like anybody was going to buy it. So it didn't look like anybody was even going to see the second season. And Netflix was like, yeah, we'll buy it. And they've aired it. Now, whether or not it's going to get a 3rd season, I don't know.
Right.
Did we talk about this in the last podcast, though, about Skeleton Crew? Yeah, I think so, too.
I think we did.
Yeah, so we're gonna if Netflix does do a season 3 of Prodigy, then we'll still have Prodigy as well. But for right now, it's looking like we're going to be down to 2, and we're going to be down to 2 in a manner that one of them is already going to be going into its 3rd or 4th season or whatever with Strange New Worlds. And it seems like from a streaming model, when they talked about, I don't know who they were, maybe it was Kurtzman they were just talking to, and he said in a streaming world, in a streaming model, 5 seasons is like the 7 seasons of old on network. Like 5 seasons seems to be the cap for a streaming service or a streaming show. And we're already 3 seasons into Strange New Worlds or 2, whatever it is. So I don't think we're going to get a ton more of that. I don't know if that'll continue on into film. Like, I don't know. Section 31, that's a movie though, right? Yeah, initially it was going to be a show, and then Michelle Yeoh couldn't commit to like a show, but she still wanted the project to move forward. So it's going to be like a one-off, like a TV movie. Did the second season come out, John? I don't know. I know Netflix bought it.
Pretty sure it did. Pretty sure it did.
I watched the first episode of Prodigy. I dug it, but I just never got back to it. So I don't know. I look up Prodigy, and the first thing that comes up is the band.
Yeah, I mean, they keep talking about making a new Picard era-based show around the Titan or the now new USS Enterprise. That also has now gotten a couple of titles that people have talking about, but it's all been just pipe dream at this point. So who knows if that's actually going to be going in production. There were rumors out there of people saying it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
It's been some time since that was said, though.
It has been, but like, who knows? That's the only other thing that we're even hearing about, even though we're not even really hearing about that either anymore. So
it says the second season was picked up by Netflix that October. The season's 20 episodes were released in France on France TV on March 22nd of this year. They are set to be released in the US and other territories on the streaming service Netflix later in 2024. So it will be this year. It'll just be later this year for the second season of Prodigy. So. Anson wrapped filming today, Ethan Friday, and another prequel movie perpetually in the works. Yes, the prequel movie I am hearing a lot about, which is literally going to be supposed to be an origin film. So, but again, it's kind of like with the Star Wars gang too, right? Like they get ideas for these movies and they start to develop them, and then they just kind of like sit in this developmental hell where who knows what's happening.
Too much for Star Trek already. Like every single movie in the last 20 years they've been talking about, well, maybe not 20 years, but
no, but I get what you're saying.
Right?
There's still rumors floating around about Star Trek 4. They're still talking about Star Trek 4, like that's like the Kelvin, like they're going to do a final wrap up Kelvin movie. Who knows if that's ever going to see the light of day. The Quentin Tarantino project appears to be dead. So it's on Netflix France. Use a VPN and change to France. But do you have to watch it in French? My French is a little rusty, and by a little rusty, I mean non-existent.
No, you can still watch it. Same thing with Netflix in Quebec, even though it's mainly in French. You can still change your language to English.
Can you?
And watch stuff in English. Now, there are some shows that don't get translated at all.
Are they not doing a show or a movie with Chris Hemsworth playing Kirsten? So that was the original plan, Eric, for Star Trek 4. They were supposed to bring Hemsworth back, somehow have both the Chris's there. I don't know what timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly things they would have done to do that. And then from what I remember when it was first being talked about, there were money issues, like salary issues that neither of the Chris's were willing to budge on. And then it just fell off a cliff. And now it's like I think they just got a new writer. Yeah, I just saw a news piece for Star Trek 4, but it's like, it's still not, like if they just got a new writer, that means we're like a minimum 2 years away from that movie even. And that's assuming that they get a script knocked up quickly and they start setting up for filming. So, and then they got to bring all those people back. Like,
you got to sign all those people, right? Who a lot of them are big actors now, right? Like
I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe, but if they keep cranking out TV shows and the TV shows are mostly decent and most of them have been, then I'm happy that they keep doing that. Like, I don't necessarily need a movie universe anymore. What do we think about the Strange New Worlds Doctor Who crossover rumors? I've not heard these.
I've not heard of this, but if I remember correctly, there was a Star Trek Doctor Who crossover in comics. I believe with the TNG crew, if I remember correctly. But I've never heard of that. I would be open for that. I will admit I haven't watched Doctor Who in a while.
Yes, in the comics they did Star Trek: The Next Generation, Doctor Who, Assimilation.
Yeah.
Star Trek. Okay, so that didn't bring it up. Strange.
I don't know. Strange New World Doctor Who crossover. Yeah, I'm down for it.
Is it possible though? From like an IP perspective, like are they?
I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, if
well, they're not owned by the same company though, right? Like it would have to be.
No, one is owned by the BBC, one is owned by Paramount.
Well, what I'm sorry. What I'm saying is it possible. That's all I mean. Like it's easy to do Kong and Godzilla because they're both Legendary has rights to the both of them, right? Like they're
doing
that,
Spider-Man in the MCU, right? So
right. They figured that out.
There's a way to get it done.
No, of course there is.
But
that also drew money like fucking mad. So I don't know. Would Doctor Who Strange New Worlds draw money like mad? I don't know.
Well, I think what the Strange New Worlds Lower Decks crossover showed us is that people love those things, right?
If they're done that well, holy hell. Yeah. What a great episode.
Yeah.
One of the best episodes of recent memory as far as Trek goes. So
100%.
That one's going to be real hard to top.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're ever going to top that one. And I guess they don't really have to, but.
No, they don't have to, but again.
I would watch the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The big swing Anson was talking about for this season. Yeah, I'm really hoping they do a fully animated. Like, I really hope. I know they won't go back to Lower Decks, but I'd love to see a fully animated Lower Decks style episode of Strange New Worlds. I think that would be dope.
I loved that we got to see the Lower Decks character on the Enterprise in live action. We now need the opposite.
Yes.
We need the Enterprise crew on Lower Decks in animation.
Yes. I don't know that I necessarily need them to go like on the Cerritos. I don't know if I necessarily need them to go forward and like I don't know that they necessarily need them to cross over, but I would love to have it so that we got an entire episode of Strange New Worlds in that animation as having them as animated and knowing that they've become animated and that they're animated characters but drawn in the style of Lower Decks. I think that would be very, very dope. I would love to see them cross over to Lower Decks, but I don't know if that's even possible, but
that would be cool, but I feel like the reason why they love doing this so much is that they're different teams.
Right, of course. But it's all still Trek, and they all still love Trek, right? So
100%. Yeah. But now you're asking your crew, that's your regulars on your show, to step aside for a week. They're not going to pay this week because now we're paying the Lower Decks crew, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Eric. Wasn't there a scene at the end where they were all animated? Yes, but it was for a minute.
10-second scene at the end. Yeah.
So I would love to see an entire episode like that, and I want it to like I almost want them to be all standing on the bridge, and there just be a George Lucas camera fucking transition wipe, and they're all animated, and they all look down like what the hell, and then
the hell just happened, and
then they've got to spend the whole episode trying to figure out why they're animated and how to get back to being like that's money for me, man.
That'd be cool.
That's money for me. That's better than puppets. Don't make them puppets. It's all I ask. Please don't make them puppets.
I mean, that could be interesting.
I don't want to see them. Don't have them puppets. No,
marionettes.
Not puppets. Not marionettes. Not Muppets. Nothing. I don't want anything. Nothing felt. I want them animated or I want them human, and that's all I want in between. You can turn them all into animals for an episode if you want. That's fine, but I don't want to. I don't want them as puppets, man. That's going to freak me out. I don't like that.
Hey guys, listen, we're way past or the old man's bedtime at this point. Guys, we're gonna be at Anime North. That's right, we're gonna be at Anime North as of tomorrow.
Why?
Starts at 5 p.m.
So
5 p.m. It opens up. It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
We should wear our Trek uniforms.
We could do that.
We should wear Trek uniforms. That'd be hilarious.
We could do that. No one's gonna have a clue what they are, but we could absolutely do that.
Walking through there as Trekkies. Hey, listen. If you're going to be there, shoot me a message. Let me know you're going to be there. I'll try to let you guys know as we know more when our podcasts are going to be. Keep your eyes out for some lives on our Instagram, stories on our Instagram. We're gonna try to post as much content as we can this weekend because we're not going to be in costume. It'll be a little bit easier for content.
I would think so. So remember, guys, we are going to be in the North building.
Yes.
In the gaming hall. So if you are looking for, like, if we're not responding because we can't get our phones out because we're doing whatever, that's where we're going to be spending probably the bulk of our time. I am wearing my Captain Daddy shirt right now. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. That's nice. I was going to wear mine for today too, but I thought I'd just break out like a classic Trek shirt. Yeah, if you're going to be there, at least come say hi. If you can't get a hold of us, look for us there first. And then, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully Aaron will be able to set us up with a home base in that area that we can just kind of hang out at and spend time at and do the podcast from and whatever. But yeah, we'll see you guys there, hopefully. And if we don't, that's cool. Hopefully we'll see you in 2 weeks at Niagara Falls Comic-Con. And if we don't see you there, then hopefully we'll see you at Fan Expo. I think that'd be the
if we don't see them there, then they better be subscribed to the damn channel.
Holy shit. Are you not subscribed yet? What the fuck are you doing? How could you possibly not have been subscribed to the channel? Have you liked this video yet? You 14 people that are watching right now? Because if you haven't, I'm going to check right now. I want to see right now, and I want to see how many likes are on this right now.
Well, we'll let Jeff go do that. I think that will be it for this week, though, folks. Anybody works?
I can't tell.
No?
We'll see you guys this weekend. Love you guys. Peace out. JS, what do we always say?
Yeah, stay geeky. I already said it. We'll see you tomorrow. Live from Mississauga, I guess. Toronto Convention Center. Technically Mississauga, right? Tobico. Fair enough.
Yeah, whatever it is.
See you guys there.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss an